Hello everybody. Hi, welcome to the stream. Bogus Meat Factory. Hi. How are you folks doing today? Oh my goodness, we're continuing this amazing journey. That is my all-time favorite game ever. Myst Online Uru Live. Last time that we streamed, we explored a lot of the city of Denis, this ancient civilization that had, mysteriously died. And we had explored some of these ages, and learned about this young woman, Isha, and her journey that she's wanting to go through to understand the crimes of the Denis, these people that are revered as being some spectacular civilization, and in reality having some ulterior motives of being not as wondrous as we'd like to make them be. So we're going to dig right in, because I am so excited. So excited to play some Myst Online. Launcher's going, do. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. I'll be streaming the game as 3 p.m. Eastern time, because they're going to be doing a launch of new content, which I'm super excited for. Alright. Boink. Yeah, Streamception! One second while it loads. Please load. As you also may notice, my computer background is Kadish Taleza. One of the favorites, most visually striking ages. And the game isn't running. Why is it not running? Game? Game? Huh, 1 second. You're gonna watch this wonderful world. There, oh, it's working. It's working. It's working. Shh, let it work. Hi. Starting, ooh, it took a second. That was weird. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all have a wonderful night. I'm doing so well. Like, this came out of the blue, and I've been, distancing myself from this game that I love so much, because this idea that it, has, oh, hopefully you can see everything okay. Let me know if visuals are weird. Once again, the stream in the cleft has begun to flow. After many years, there's something new to discover. Many skilled volunteers contributed to this effort. Their work should be an inspiration to us all. Let us remember those who could not be here to celebrate this day with us. That's tomorrow. So excited. So excited. Alright, let's dig into this. So yeah, we finished Teledon, and we explored some of like the main cavern city. We did some of Garrison, which was this. So Teledon was this, like a food harvesting of like these spores and mushrooms and things like this. And we saw a lot of cool creatures and interesting things, but also belied a seedy underbelly of like slave trading. I'm so lost. And then we had Garrison, which was a guild of maintainers, like research and development age. This gigantic monolithic rotating towers that were humongous in nature. It was absolutely crazy to watch and experience. Okay, so sorry, I was getting. Also, we noticed that since we cleared Teledon, we have this new addition into our Relto, which is this. So A-Hole Hamster, it's there's a lot to it, right? The story to the games are about a family. It's about Atris, this man who is a descendant from the long-lost Denis race that had mostly perished from this catastrophic event. They lived in this underground caverns in this enormous city underground, and they had the ability to write books that could link to other worlds, right? And how society was shaped because of this, ability. It's not an innate ability. Anyone can do it if they understand how. Anyways, the first Myst game is about him and his sons, his two sons, who become crazy with power, and they're cruel and greedy and self-absorbed, and so their father, Atreus, traps them in these books. And you, as the player, come into this world with those two kids trapped, and Atreus himself is also trapped in a different book. Yeah, the two brothers. And you find out what they were up to. You save Atreus and learn that he has been working in that process on stabilizing a very unstable age that was written by his father Gen, who also was an evil man, who's living there on that age, but he's trapped there. He can't leave. He can't get out. And so is Atreus' wife. She's trapped there as well. And you have to go in and rescue her. And you do so. And that's the second game. 3 and 4, you don't even need to know the plots of. You just need to know that they had a daughter named Isha, which they were prepping to be the chosen one to restore Denis. And she was sent off to do so. And in that process, she learned so much about the crimes and problems that the Denis civilization had, that they weren't as perfect as they were thought to be. And she has been calling people to come to the cavern, to free what she calls the least, these creatures called the Borrow, and to learn about Denis, the civilization. And that's kind of the point of it. Trying to make a follow the tour guide joke, but it can't put it together. And that's it. So we are exploring these ages that she has sent us, these books, to learn about Denis, to learn about the Borrow, and to try to free them, essentially. She's pretty cryptic in her messaging about that, but we are working on it. It's a process. We're going to go first, stop off. We're going to finish off Garrison, but first we need to go to Teledon, because there's some stuff. Yeah, so they only have, so the Myst games are puzzle games, they're meant to flex your brain, but they aren't your typical, just random arbitrary puzzles. They're really a lot of mechanical puzzles and things that relate to the world, and they all have kind of context for why they exist and how they function. And that's always really kind of one of the positive things that this series does really, really well. We're going to go check and see if we see some shroomy. But yeah, these games are mind-bending adventure games, and a lot of people make fun of them because the older games were kind of static images. And with live action and stuff like this, the acting was actually pretty good. The world building and the puzzles and the writing were top-notch and just absolutely spectacular. We're here until dawn. We're looking for shroomy. See if we can see our old buddy. It's okay, though. I get it that it's not for everybody, and that's understandable. I would never be so bold to say that every person should love and adore this game, or these games. I love them, but that's just me. My all-time favorite game is a game that people don't love, typically, because it's very different than the traditional Myst games. In that it's an MMO, and also in that it can be third person. You can create your character, and there's kind of this stigma behind that stuff. I like the acting. I'm not going to knock that. Yeah, the opposite of gatekeeping. You have to convince people to play it. Well, that's the thing. For me, this is, when it's free, so that should be a big driving factor, right? And two, it's just great world building and great storytelling. And it may seem strange and arbitrary at first. You may not understand what they're saying or what they're meaning when you play these games. But as you look into it, as you slow it down and take your time and trying to digest this stuff, you can have a better understanding of the intricacies of what they were creating. Time is also a commodity. See, that's also a thing. We were actually talking about this on Twitter the other day, A-Hole Hamster, and you're 100% right. That's also one of those things where I say, I don't try to convince people you must play these games. I play them, I talk about them, I enthuse about them honestly, that alone will either convince you or not. And if it does, that's great. I'd love to hear from you if you do. If it doesn't convince you, that's okay too. Because one of those things, we were talking to somebody about, they're talking about board games and how there's like 1 million board games that are the same style of a certain type, right? And it's like, I'm not going to play those. I'm going to play the best one out of those. And I was talking about, like, it doesn't really apply to video games, but it really does. With a lot of Twitch and action-based games, it doesn't make as much of a difference, because really the challenge is all in the reflexes. A board game is different. It's about strategy. It's about understanding the layers of things. But it does apply to games like Civilization. You know, would you play 20 different Civilization clones, or are you going to play Civilization? You know, like, that's the thing. Like, and so with adventure games, you're either into this type of game or you're not. And that's all right. It's all right if you're not. And that's also kind of the beauty of streaming too. If you're not into it, you can kind of also experience it with a person who is, I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but a person who's really knowledgeable about the game, and talk about what makes it so special and interesting. The backlog is real. 10,000 work placement games. Yep. If there's a style, like, this is also, but that also kind of depends on what that C tier is. What depends on what it is. You know? Because, like, if we're talking, like, you know, C tier racing games, I don't know. There's not that many, though. That wouldn't be a situation where there would be one, but. So what happened is here is, in Garrison, there's a journal. I wasn't going to read it. It's Sharper's journal. It's really, really long. I'm saying that it would probably take me about an hour to read. You guys do not want to sit through an hour. And a lot of it is storytelling for when it was actually live and new and fresh. Sharper is this person who's a part of the Dunny Restoration Council. He was a kind of a rogue person. He kind of did what he wanted. So he observed the politics between this organization and kind of kept some secrets. And he talked about the location of this stone in Teledon, which he was in charge of, that led to here. And we just took it. And it lends us here. This is a sparkly fairy biography. Hold on. Let's get you a fairy biography. Where's my fairy book? 1 second. Where did my fairy book go, baby? Where did my fairy book go? Ran away with my book. Hold on. This place is a mess. Here it is. This place is a mess. An absolute mess. Since we're in a world building mood, let's talk about fairies. Okay. We last left off with the Chin Chin Kobokama. We are now on to the Cluricon in Ireland. Some say that the Cluricon is the leprechaun gone on a spree. At any rate, he resembles his Irish brother in appearance, being a little old man in antiquated dress. He has a fiery temper and is full of mischief. Sometimes he attaches himself to a human family, and for generations they cannot get rid of him or his pranks. The Cluricon. I don't know if you can see that or not. Right there. That guy. It's a super leprechaun, exactly. So we ended up now into this weird prison cell here. And we're like, what is going on? Let's see. Whoop! What? We've been here before. It's spinning. We're in Garrison. This is really cool. So Sharper in his journal, he talks about how there's this stone that led to here, this place in a spinning structure. that were able to work. They tried to get rid of the stone, and it always popped back up again. And they don't know why it's there or who brought it there. We know, of course. But it's interesting. And so we are exploring. I'll move this over here out of the way. And we're exploring this thing. They talked about this place in particular in another journal. In the journal when we were in Garrison with Lepilikos and I, we were just hanging out, and they had talked about this place, which was a prison of sorts that was in the upper levels of the larger structure that we saw, that we had gotten to, where they had the wall, and like the Guild maintainers were using like testing of their new suits and stuff like this. But in the upper levels, there was actually a prison, and this is where we are, is in that area here. And you can see there's the symbols of the Guild maintainers all around here. It's inside here, right? It's kind of like a command station. What this here is, I don't even really know, right? Like, this map is of the tower that we're in. I don't know what these spokes are. Are they cells? I have no clue. Why do they have maintainer suits? They also have a key dispenser here as well, which you can't do anything with. And it's really interesting. Like, this is some content that we didn't get access to yet, that they planned on probably doing a lot more with. Maybe this was the command station for going out later, further into the age, and you needed to have these big suits because they talked about these like gigantic monstrous creatures and stuff like this. You kind of have these weird battle suits to have to deal with them, maybe. I don't know. And that's they also talked about how the key, your multi-tool, which is on the top left corner, how that is upgradable. There's many variations of it, and you can get them from these different dispensers, and that may have also been something to do with further exploring this age, having to upgrade your key and use it as a tool of some sort when going deep into those areas. And those were allusions to what was going to be the case in this game. They did plan on having you explore these ages further and seeing more things about them and having different stories be told. And we didn't get a chance to see them, though. It just didn't happen. Ran out of funding. Ubisoft screwed them over big time. Ubisoft really didn't want an online game for Myst, and eventually kind of shut it all down. It was a series of unfortunate events. They really wanted the Myst name, the Myst franchise, and they did not care for this idea of having this large-scale online game that was constantly evolving and changing and growing. So we have all of the handprints for Garrison. I need paper. Perfect. That's what I need. So we're going to now link out, because there's no way back except for going back to our Relto. We'll link back into Garrison and find this door. So with every age, once you found all these handprints in each age that you go to, you've got to go and find this door, Shisha's door, and open it to gain access to this chamber where the Barrow are, and to get these totem poles. It's crazy. Hey, how's it going, man? How's it going, Parker? I'm pretty sure the maintainer suits were for protection from the environment in general. That's what I'm thinking, Parker. Well, I mean, we know they were used for like exploration of ages, to determine their stability and things like this. Like, we know that in the books and stuff like this, they've talked about it as being a function of those, and but I do think that structure very specifically was probably that room in particular was probably a prep room for going out into this age, because, and this was the thing that I was talking about on their Discord today about what I feel the direction that they were going with the guilds and what their intent was with all of that. Where's the bridges? Where are my bridges? Hello? Oh, they're there. Was that they were creating ages to kind of teach. The one described in the book is the highest level of protection that can link with you. Yep. Yeah. Which is crazy. It's crazy. That's the big giant chunky one. But I do think that they were creating ages and stuff like this to kind of prep you for guild responsibilities, right? They had Mikata, which was kind of a test of the Guild of Cartographers. Is it Cartographers? Hold on. Guild of... yeah, that one. You know, the one who maps things. And then, you know, like the Great Zero as well, helping aid with that. I do feel like that they were all wanting to give you ages that were going to also kind of be test ages for people with the various guilds. And, like later on in that, when they got to the guild expansion that they were going to be doing. Because they even talk on the DRC restoration site that Garrison was going to be added to. Oh no, did not make that jump. Let's try that again. I touched the handprint so that I can always just use that now to get back to that specific spot and not have to worry about it. I have so many ideas about like where they were going with the series, and we'll kind of talk about that as we like continue. But we also, if you look at like the Teledon map and stuff like this, they definitely show maintainer, like a maintainer structure on Teledon somewhere. All right. Try this. That was too short. Oh, I just made it. Whew. Whew. I'm playing online right now, Parker. Actually, yeah. In preparation for the new content. I'm doing the single player information. Most of the people, like my little circle of people, like the retro game people and stuff like this, haven't had much experience with Myst games, and so showing off, you know, my most favorite series of all. One second, let's be quiet and listen. Chittering. Nice, Parker. Nice. I'll have to stop by and say hi. I want to try to run through at least the main story, Isha's journey, before the end of the night tonight. Finish it up.
Shora, peace to you, mover of the least. 7 more journeys have moved you closer. I was seduced while in Denis. My humble darkness lasted only a short time before I began to bask in what I could do, what I could write. My gift, my path, the knowledge of my father and the dreams of my mother pierced a hole in the darkness, in the weakness. I was aware of my power and I was proud. Whole worlds at my fingertips. It was the same with the Denis, the same cycle. Light opens the darkness, it takes, it uses, and it keeps. The Denis found power in these books you used to travel. They were a gift from the Maker. These ages you traveled to were their ages. Remarkable places giving life. And taking life. This shadow came over them, this shadow of light. For it was in their enlightenment that they considered themselves better. Better than the least. And we were sad for them. Can you feel the Denis there? You've touched the remnants, the remains of their pride and power.
Yeah.
Let me tell you of King Karath. Dare I speak ill of him? one of the great kings, but yet he was the maker of the proud, for it was his system of guilds that served as the foundation of power and corruption. The powerful need control, fortresses and garrisons to guard their power, and soon the guarding is yet another thing to be proud of. Layers within layers built to preserve their ages and their pride from the weak and least who might attack from without. And yet, it is from within that most nations fall. And so the mighty garrisons of Denis now stand vacant.
She talks about garrisons of Denis.
The writing hides what's between the lines.
So talky.
These journeys are to help you travel between. The Barrow will be returned. These pillars are our journey. The return of the pillars is the return of the Barrow. The bringing away and the bringing back.
Are you done now? She talks about the garrisons of Denis. What we saw was one of them, right? And like I said, you look at this map in Teledon that shows the rest of that world. I see another. I think that a lot of ages had those garrisons of the maintainers where they monitored the age and, you know, kept an eye on it and kept a watchful eye on this stuff. And we would be exploring that stuff in the future. We ready? Whoa! Into the starry expanse. But yeah, she's talking about, you know, King Karath, who's named after the Arch. He came through the Arch, one of the great kings in the city underground. Set up the guild systems. She talks about just how those guild systems, you know, form corruption. It's that club mentality, this idea of that their perspective and their world, their responsibilities are the most sacred and the most, you know, worth far more than anything else. All right, we're gonna do a good one. This is some Garden Ages. This is Eder. Hold on. There's Chemo, which is not this one. This is Eder. Hold on. Gira. Thank you. My brain. So we start here in this place. This actually has a nice day-night cycle. It's like, I think it's like 16 hours, 14 hours, something like that. It's got a day-night cycle. I was wondering if it's turning night or not. We might be able to see some bioluminescence, which is really cool. So there's a book here for some reason that leads back to the whatchamacallit. And you have these things here. Interesting. You tap them. I always talked about this too, and people thought I was crazy, and I probably am. But with these plants and stuff like this, you'll see that you're gonna see something cool with them. There's some plants that you can see, and so there's some volcanic activity down there. This place is just a crazy place. Alright, let's see if I can jump up here. I used to be able to do this. I don't know if I can anymore. You can circumvent this. There's a puzzle you can kind of circumvent. I would have. It's close. Let's see. Nope. We'll have to do it the legitimate way. So you have these heated vents that are going on right now. You can see them, that we can close them up and stuff like this. They're venting off, you know, the all this heat and water vapor and stuff like this from the volcanic activity. So I'm told I'm crazy, but I look at these leaves and I see blue lines. You don't really see them in the day. You see them more at night. And it belies this bioluminescence that kind of is all throughout this age. This is an age that always talks about symbiosis. And so you have this structure up there. What its role and purpose is, we don't really know. I have an idea, but we'll see. This is a garden age. they're built for their beauty and just for simply chilling, as the Dunny are wont to do. Okay. Whee! Okay, we're going down. Okay, let's try this jump. No, too much! Oh, too much! Too much, dude. So close. Whenever you're in danger, you just link yourself back to your alto. Oops. So we have to find these cloths, and we can see them. There's a puzzle to this, right? So, like, we saw a cloth. Up there, I think, right? We saw a cloth. Yeah, right there, there's one. But we can't reach it yet. I'm wondering what we need to do that, right? There's also one right here. Sneaky. Oh, nope. Too much. Or not enough. We have to be... This is tricky platforming in our puzzle games. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you all are doing well. Parker, are you excited for tomorrow? I'll be streaming the event as well. Because I definitely... On there. Oh, come on. Oh, that was so close. Come on. No. Dude, go around it. Don't fall off, please. Don't fall off. Cheese Waking Games, welcome back. You are excited. I am so excited. I don't know if I can handle it, though. I made the jump. Okay. So what we're doing is we're closing off these valves all except one. If you close them all, they burst back open. The pressure's too much and they can't handle it. And we want to set up that pressure up to that particular cloth up there that we couldn't reach so that it can launch us up, and we can make that jump then. So now watch as we do this. Bam. POV jumping. It doesn't have to be POV jumping. I just like doing it that way. I'm a weirdo. I acknowledge this. I need to... We're gonna open up this one here. You can hear it rumbling. You've been quietly looking to enjoy, and I'm glad, man. I'm glad you've been enjoying. This is my favorite game in the world, just because there's rhyme and reason to all these things. Everything makes sense. And it's interesting to watch the technology change based on the... based on how much time has been spent, you know, working on it. Is this an industrial age? Is this one for just simply, you know, the pretties? Whee! I can totally jump over that. And so you have this big rock barrier here. We can't get across. We just apply that same concept. Open up the valve. We're gonna run back over and we have to close that one we just opened recently. Because if we had closed all of them... Oh, also, look at this view. You can see... Come on. I think that'd be better. Yeah. We want to get there, to those. So we're just making our way there right now. Whee! So, Parker, we've got this new content coming up, and everybody's getting in their head the you know, wild dreams in their head. it's just fan ages, right? There's a fan library and some fan age creations done by some of the better ones, of course. But like, I think people are getting too excited. They're like, we're gonna get the guild house, we're gonna get all these things. Like, no, we're gonna just get a fan library and access to the fan ages from there. That's what's gonna happen. So now we're walking into this place here. We have these wonderful little heat vents. And we are in Eragira. This place is very cool. So you can see, let's see if the fishies are glowing. Or do they, is it too light out? Here, fishy, fishy, fishies. Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. Yeah. Where did they all go? Have the fishes left the age? Yes, I'm the same. I'm just happy to be there. They're sparkly. This right here, this view here belies more. You see these structures in the distance. You can actually even make out a town out there somewhere. Let's see, you can see buildings and things there. Right there. Align more to this age that we actually can't see. Alright. And so we can go in here. We can see that there is more back here. You see these machines. There's a button on the top. These are heat vents that create light. I don't know how they do this exactly, but by venting that, it heats up something and it causes that illumination. And that's kind of one of the key puzzles to this game. So we can light this up. And you can see there's parts to that. You can even hear the steam vent pouring out. I'm trying to go into this area here, but it's too dark and you can't see. And you can't. You just can't. So we need to find a way to light up this place. And we don't know how to do that yet. What we can do... I'm sad. The fish are not here. I'm not seeing any fish. Do they have to get rid of them at some point? Because I don't see them at all. There used to be these stingray. Oh, there they are. There they are. Yep, they're just not lit up. When it's actually nighttime, they light up. And they're bioluminescent. They're really crazy. And I talk about how there's kind of that relationship between all the things in this age. These plants have a little bit of bioluminescence to them. People think I'm crazy, but... I like to think so. And so we're stuck in a situation with this age where we can't continue anymore because we're stuck in darkness. But as you explore this age, you'll also notice that there's an age here that we can go to. These two kind of work in tandem. Much like this major theme of what this age was meant to be, as they expanded further, they had talked about... oh, also, I always keep mentioning this, but take a look here. Remember how I said like they would put these symbols down with the name of the owner of the ages? Maybe that's Morisha. Is that Isha's symbol? I don't know. And look, there's the Keanu Linths. Keanu Linths? Yeah, I think that's what they're called. They're named this because they look like the little tracker things from the Matrix that they put in. Thank you, Sai, for the subscription, dude. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's just Eastern or graffiti. She marks it everywhere. But these creatures, they resemble those little tracker bugs that the agents put in Keanu Reeves' belly button. And so they call them Keanoliths. This is Eder Chemo, which is another Garden Age. This place is crazy. What are you making? What you making, Sai? I hope you're doing well, too. This age is messed up. We're going to read about this age, too. Woo! And explore. So you have these trees. You can hear them creaking. This is a very relaxing age, considering the atrocities committed. This is also a super cool age for its graffiti. So you'll see here, these are borrow graffiti that they do. And they depict various ages and things that we go through. So, like, for instance, this here is Teledon. You can see the mushrooms. You can see there's slave labor working the machines. People living in cages. And then you have the Denis people. And that seems to be, like, they talk about this being the driving force of this, right? Then you see, this is Greason, we just came from. You have all of these scary looking maintainers. Oh, you hear that rumble? Storms of Bruin. Then here is the cavern itself. You can see it barely. The lights come on. I'm getting some visual issues here with the rain. Atrocities. Hooray! And here you can see this is an age we haven't been to yet. But this is a big one. This is Kadish Toleza. And there's a lot going on here. You would look at this and you're like, this is pretty. But these are very specific locations, and it's a telling of a story. We'll go through this again at some point. And then this one, I don't remember what this is of. We'll see. I don't remember. We're just walking through a storm right now, no big deal. And it's passing. And you hear the creaks. I love this age so much because it's so interesting. It's so visually striking. Walking this path, just taking a smooth time. And so here tells the story of this age, a part of it at least, right? We'll talk about it. It's the owner of the age and his two brothers. There's the, once we finish everything, that's our exit. This here is a depiction of Callow, an unfinished age that wasn't released. See people riding the creatures and other people down below watching. And this was an age where people would be racing these creatures that you could go to. I mentioned it with a Callow pub. And other people could watch and bet on the races they were. It was a clandestine club. And then here you see these creatures.
Samba,
Whoa, scared living. Whew. Not Poquitas, thank you for the follow. Thank you. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing today good. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. We're playing some Myst online. Have you ever played? Are you a fan of Myst in general? If not, oh man, you must. You must. It got a bad rap in its youth. So yeah, they have these creatures, right? And you're like, what do these things represent? What is this all about? And in all honesty, I have no idea. I've studied these pictures a lot and tried to understand and decipher kind of what they mean and what they represent. This one, don't rightly know. How are you doing tonight, not Poquitas? Even though I'm pretty sure you're Poquitas. So, yeah, we got the brain trees. Welcome to the brain trees, everybody. This is the best part. They're not gonna suck your brains out. Brain trees. Creepy, creepy brain trees. Hello. I love my brain trees. Brain trees, anyone? Why, thank you. Brain trees. So you have these statues, these monolithic statues. This is a depiction of a person who's a Denis. Always these tiny heads, big bodies. I don't quite understand. And this, of course, is Yisha. This is the Denis representation of Yisha. There's a borrow stone. What does this one go to? I'm not going to actually go to it. Okay, that goes to the rooftop in the neighborhood. Those are usually just kind of like an extra view of a place. They typically don't have a story aspect to them. Yep, this is Yisha. This is the cleft here where she lived, and this is the city of Denis. That's Karath's Arch. And her talking about writing books. The desert bird. And the handprint. It's really interesting when you look at this stuff. And trying to kind of understand its meaning and purpose, because a lot of times a lot of people overlook at them as just being some like silly little patterns. In reality, they belie a lot of information, or at least relationship to things that you don't entirely understand. For instance, here, this tells you a lot about a particular age we haven't gotten to. It's we probably won't during this series of streams before the new content comes out, but this is Annonay. It looks odd and you probably don't understand it, but it spoils the age once you actually know it, once you actually have gotten there. Got the spitter trees. Hi, little spitter trees. How's it going, buddy? There's a... yeah, there's a handprint here. Silly little spitter trees, doo-dah, doo-dah. And so now we've got the book. We're going to read about the history of this age in particular. And so these glyphs and images that depict things, just creatures and stuff like this, I don't entirely know what they represent. I'm kind of guessing that the writer of this particular book, Nick, did these to look cool. That's my take from this. That was Nick trying to look cool. Shamat's story. The story of Shamat. Get ready for some reading, everybody. Taken from book 43C. We have yet to name it. Translation, Nick. First draft. At the age of 121, Shamat had resided in his palace of the kings for 20 years, though the palace had taken 45 years to construct, and new additions had been added every year. Shamat was still not pleased with all that surrounded him. His palace was larger than any structure in the city, and the gardens of his palace were more beautiful than any other living plants. that the people had ever known. But Shamat demanded more from these creatures. From those who created his home and his gardens. Shamat sent messengers demanding that Lamash, the head, this would seem to define some kind of leader of the servants, although they never defined them as servants. I have to ask Dr. Watson. Of his palace, come to his gardens immediately, and Lamash obeyed. Yes, my king, what is it that you require of me? Do you see these bulbs of orange and leaves of brown that surround me? Of course, my king, they are unlike any that dwell in the cavern. Do you see the intricate stone that surrounds me? Asked Shamat. Of course, again, there's none like them in the cavern. And Shamat suddenly became angry, cursing at his servants, not really servants, but it'll have to do, and screaming at those in his presence. Who do you think that I am? Do you think I have never used the books to see the beauty that lies outside this cavern? I've written these books myself, even while you have seen me trained by the Grand Master, and yet you act as though I should be pleased at the beauty that now surrounds me, beauty that comes only from this cavern of no light, no warmth, and no color. Do you think stone and darkness are all that I require? Who do you think that I am? My king, what is it that you ask of me? Bring to me Grandmaster Kenry. Together you will work in a writing sense, with him, and create for me real beauty. Roaring water, colors beyond imagination, living creations, not stone. These are the gardens that I demand. Now go and bring them to me. And so Lamash went to Kenry, Grand Master of the Guild of Writers, and together they created an age with beauty that was beyond that which any man had ever seen before. And together they brought their king to the age 8 months, these are Denis months, after his request has been made. Shamat was pleased with all that he saw. Broad leaves of green and yellow, flowers of every color, and roaring waters of blue and turquoise like the most colorful stones of Denis. And he promoted Lamash, as he was already head. I'm not sure about his promotion, but the word is fairly clear. And made Kenry his most prized Grand Master in all of Denis. Shamat spent every day on his new age, and he asked for more of them, and he asked his architects to provide structures on these ages. And while this happened, Shamat's brothers continued to grow more jealous, and their anger turned to rage. They had not been invited to live in the palace of their brother, and now, though multitudes of common citizens were invited to the gardens of Shamat, never once were they allowed to visit, and their hearts burned toward their king and brother. So it was that Shamat was sitting alone in his garden age when 2 creatures approached him. Though they resembled men, they walked on their arms and legs and moved quickly. Shamat was frightened upon seeing the creatures, and immediately called for his guards. The creatures ran from the guards, but Shamat ordered his guards to follow them, and the guards obeyed. It was not until the next day that they returned. They claimed that they had seen a city with hundreds of these creatures living in it, conversing with one another and organizing armies. These armies lived inside of the garden age of Shamat, and Shamat was very afraid. Shamat ordered the men who had seen the village to be put in prison. Not sure if book or physical prison, for what they saw, and he called his most trusted advisor, Lamash, to his residence in the city. Upon hearing of the creatures and their organization, Lamash too was frightened. We have no choice but to burn the book, Lamash recommended. You know this age is not ours. If it is already inhabited, you know the rules of our writing, and of our books, and of our people. But Shamat's heart was not moved by the words of Lamash, and he grew more angry and enraged. The world was created by me, for me. If there are others who exist, they will have to be killed. It is Denis now. So Shamat ordered for his brothers to be brought into his palace, and he informed them of his dilemma. Shamat asked his brothers if they would kill those who lived on his garden ages, and he bribed them with talk of power and authority. And so they agreed, even though they hated their brother. And the brothers of Shamat traveled to the age and went to the creatures to destroy them. But in talking with the creatures, they became convinced that the creatures should not be killed, but instead they should be used to destroy their brother. And so they devised a plan to kill their brother, the king. While Shamat waited in his palace in the city, his brothers appeared to him. We have finished, they announced. The creatures are all dead. Shamat was pleased to hear such words from his brothers, and on the outside he showed love to them. My brothers, I have done much wrong to you. There have been many times that I have not treated you like even those who work in my palace, and I am sorry for these actions. But today you have proven that you do not hold anger like I do. You are better than me. You have shown me favor, and so I ask you to accept what I have to offer you. Please accept this gift. And Shamat gave his brothers a Lincoln book. Its pages were filled with descriptions of beauty and life, like Shamat's own garden age. And it will be kept here in this palace where you will live now. Filled with pleasure and forgetting their hate, Shamat and his brothers went to the age quickly, and it was there that they died, thinking that they had fooled their brother. Shamat burned the book in his own fire, forever erasing his brothers and their deceit from his mind. And Shamat ordered the Grand Master to change his garden age so that those who lived there would die. And Kenry obeyed the king even though he knew it was wrong, and his life was filled with turmoil until he died. But Shamat, though he did what was wrong, continued to live and pursue all that he wanted. The story continues, but it seems a good point to stop. I'd like to go over this a few more times with some better translators, maybe even Dr. Watson. I filled in a lot of words as best I could for now. There's another edition of this book, too, of this story. It actually tells the story a little more completely. Alright. You guys ready for some more platforming? You ready for this? Oh no. Stay on. There. Whew. This is a tough one. This is a real toughie. Yes! Those are Relto pages that customize our home. So as we continue through this cave, so you see again, this is another story highlighting that the people, the rulers of Dani, were not perfect. And they were actually quite cruel and crazy. Hi, little fishy. Look at you. You guys are cute. So we've explored Eder Kimo and Eder Gira. And this links us back to the Garden Age. So we have to ask ourselves these questions of how are we able to create light in this age. This is a really arbitrary puzzle, and probably one of the toughest, because it is pretty arbitrary. What actually happens is, you guys may have seen something around my person while I was walking around in the other age. You collect fireflies. But, thing is, the fireflies don't like getting wet. Oh, yes, they're glowing now. They're glowing. Look at these guys. They're glowing, the Gira fish. That's so cool that you guys get to see both versions of them. So you have them not glowing, and now you have them glowing. That's so cool. That's so cool. So what you have to do is, to keep them dry, you have to create these little bridges that you can walk across using these baskets. It's really, really silly. And the thing is that you can jump once with them. If you jump twice, they leave. But you can jump once. We weren't going to show the trial and error that leads to that conclusion, because that's just a pain in the butt. And so now, as you can see, you can walk. Whoa. You're right there. You're right. Okay. We can walk across that. No, boy, let's change that. Let's move it a little bit. Better. That's better. With this new update, they kind of updated the physics of everything, so this is also a little more finicky than how it used to be. It used to kind of line up nice and easy. So we have to go back to Eder Kimo, grab some fireflies, bring them around without running, without getting them wet. Because we also noticed that those fireflies were following me, but then as soon as the storms came and they rained on me, they disappeared. I love this age because of its verticality, its interweaving. There's the end point. It's right above the entrance point. It's really interesting, like just how things kind of interweave together. So we go along in a big circle around this garden, a big loop. Such a good age. I love this one a lot. The colorful flowers. Dude made this garden age and then killed everything in it. Not cool, dude. Not cool. Okay. Fireflies. My little fireflies. Come here, buddies. Need to get moving before it's too late. It seems like a lot of the ages has some pretty good verticality. I hope it's going wonderful focus. I probably can't stick around too much. Parents visiting. Lip, it is always a pleasure, good sir. And yeah, I know you're busy with a bunch of stuff. I appreciate you coming in to play last night. I had an absolute blast. I hope that it may inspire you to explore this world a little more. You don't need to play the first few games to do so. But also notice that this is a visual element to let you know, hey, these things are illuminated in dark places. They have this tunnel for a very specific reason. Say, like, if you have these fireflies still with you, you can see in the dark. Because you seemed really, like, when you're, like, putting the power back in Greason, I felt your brain getting a little excited. I felt your brain getting excited. You were like, I know what this is. I know what this is. Like, you were getting it. And that makes me very happy. It makes me happy when people, like, understand how the stuff works. So look at this. Look how tricky this is. There's a steam vent right in front of me. Not cool. If you walk over it, there go your fireflies. It's again trying to, that was very specifically trying to let you know, like, hey, get these fireflies wet. That's it. So this is our one jump. Woo. And now, as we walk through here, you can start to see a little bit. And here's the thing. Lights up the room. And we continue onward. Maintainer's mark. Right there. See them in every age. Every age has one. Alright, so we gotta say goodbye to our friends, the lightning bugs. We only have one jump, and further up the path, there'll be a second jump that we have to do. So we can't do anything about that, but there's more baskets. Oops. On basket. Whee! Now we have two baskets that can cover a bigger gap. Let's hope it actually works with this physics. Fingers crossed. We're almost done with this age, actually. Also, we notice this here. Whew, we're not going to touch that stone yet. Or not that. Not yet. Not until we have completed this age, for the most part. Hey basket. There we go. Ready to the straighten up, fly right. Game seems really cool. My biggest complaint about it was just the controls. Yeah, oh man, the controls are old school. I mean, we're playing with the D-pad, or the arrow keys. It's a mess. I think there actually might be a way to change it, but hold on, let me see. Navigation. Hand on moving, stand position, door, I click. You can change the controls for movement. But it's not really built for strafing. Like, this is strafe. You can't turn while it's strafing. Like, it's not built for the WASD kind of controls. But you could probably be like WQE, maybe, for movement. There we go, that should be good. Now we gotta go back to edit chemo. Get ourselves more fireflies. And finish the sage. It was very poorly received. Major complaints were, it's not first person, it's not Myst. Uru specifically. And because it wasn't first person static images moving through stuff like that, it wasn't Myst. As if that was the defining feature of the franchises. And they didn't like the jumping, like having to do that. They didn't enjoy that. And just that part of that, the failure of Myst Online particularly deals a lot with just how we as people consume video games. And we devour them super quick. We gotta wait till the storm passes. How we consume video games. Oh, look, maintainer's mark. Bingo. How we consume video games. What was it? Is the storm leaving? Oh, the storm's exiting. We just got to the end of the storm. How we consume video games, how we ravenously eat them up and want more and want to move on, and how people don't have patience for, adventure games, always looking through guides and not fully grasping or understanding the mechanics behind these puzzles and ideas. And how that applies here. The game wasn't built to have that longevity in the first place. And we were talking about this in the Discord earlier today, the Myst, like the Cyan Games Discord. We were talking about what you could do to add that longevity, And I always talk about economy being like super important for these types of games. Having points or some sort of monetary system that incentivizes customization. So, like, for instance, having like IOHEEK points being redeemable for something, or the pellet scores. Someone brought up this crazy idea of, like, because the community you bake these pellets and you have scores for them, and it's ranked by neighborhood. And if the neighborhood has so many points, that they could redeem those for customizations of the neighborhood. It'd be such a cool idea. If they had baked those things in originally, it'd be interesting. And we also talk about, though, that at the time was an unheard idea, right? This idea of using economy as we know it today to add customizations was unheard of. We're talking like, you have the loot boxes and stuff like this of games now, like Overwatch and things that don't cost any real world money, but it is an economy. And that would have really benefited this. The ability to get like Relto pages or costume pieces to customize your character. So I've had little exposure to Myst as a whole, as I have basically no frame of reference to judge it against the other the franchise. I will say this though, from other IPs I love, specifically thinking of a few book series, I would greatly enjoy being given an exploration of those worlds and mechanics. And Myst is very much the same. It's amazing. It's so good. And I'm glad that we had this opportunity even to explore it. I highly recommend reading the book slip. They're really good. The book of Atris, the book of Tiana, and the book of Denis. Very good. The book of Atris really kind of is like a prequel to Ribbon. It's about the events that lead up to... It's the backstory of all the stuff that happens in Ribbon. The book of Tiana is really all about Denis, the city, and how it died, how the people had passed, and then the book of Denis is kind of this precursor to Myst 5 of sorts. It's a little weird though. I don't know if there's any audiobooks. We'll have to see. Wait a second. I've got what? I'm missing two things. I don't need any dudes anymore. I must have missed one in the cave here. Did I? I forget where these handprints are all the time. It's not up here. I'm missing two. There's the one above, one down below. Is the one down here I missed? No, there's nothing here. Get. It's been so long. I think they're in chemo. Hey, Keanu Lentz. How's it going, buddies? How's that blue lichen tasting? Is it good? One of these pillars, maybe? Am I remembering correctly? No. We're going to be doing some exploration, because it's been a while. I totally forget where some of this stuff is. Oh, there's something in here. There's the one. I'm missing one somewhere. Oh, I don't think I got the one that was on the. Yeah, I know where I'm missing one. I know where I'm missing it. We'll get it right now and finish it. We'll finish the sage. I didn't climb up this guy up here to get that one. There we go. Done and done. Okay, so we're just gonna go lead off. Just the pinky left. Yep, we got that pinky. Okay, time to turn this in. Listen to old Yisha monologuing. Alright. Get our pen out.
You return again. Return to hear more. Return for a third pillar. It's an interesting cycle, this coming and going, giving and taking. Returning is what you must do. For you have torn in half the very being of one of the least. You have heard their pain. Don't falter. Many stories were there for the Denis to learn from, but they didn't hear them. The ancient tales of Tuat's Ocean, or of course the story of King Shomat and his brothers, which even speaks of gardens and death. But no one truly listened.
Nope.
The garden ages of the proud are beautiful, but they are built on the backs of the least. The ages like Chemo and Gira are a sampling of the playthings of Denis. With disregard, the least were stripped from their homes. The lives in those ages were consumed, and the Denis gave nothing back. And whatever is not given back will be taken. The people of Denis didn't return easily. They only would take until all was taken from them in the Great Returning, the fall that destroyed them. Denis fell only a few hundred years ago. All of it was removed. And my journey was similar. I could write things that no Denis had ever dreamed of. My writing smashed barriers held as absolutes for millennia. I could change things, I could move things. I could control things. I learned beyond my parents, I learned beyond all. I wrote ages against any challengers, masters of the art, and they were beaten. I took all that I could hold. Only death can conquer pride so strong. For the Denis and for Yusha, it was death that moved me to return. All died. All but the least. The unproud. The Bahro considered themselves as dead already. And so they continued to watch Denis, always ready to give more away. And now they will return.
Okay. Death brought her back. What that means is, at a certain point in time in her journey of becoming the quote-unquote chosen one, she met a surviving Denis in the city who taught her things and was her mentor. And there was another person they came across who was a violent, crazy, prideful person who killed her mentor. And that's kind of what brought her back and made her understand the evils of the civilization, these people. You learn about this in Myst 5. She talks about it here. Alright, we need one more. Oh boy, and what one it is. Whew, get ready. I'm gonna try to do this legit, like cold turkey, with just notes. This is a tough one. This is the most puzzly. This is the most Myst. This is puzzles, straight up. This is Kadish Taleza. Just monumental trees, kind of woven together. This big tree here. Huge, gargantuan. Gonna try to remember how to do this. This one's a tough one. Explore this place. It's purples and yellows. So the place once housed a mansion. They got just overrun by this flora. It's quiet. It's so quiet. And so you go here, right? And you look at this thing and you wonder, what does this mean? Right? You can move things. These buttons move things, but we're going to do some stuff first. And so you wonder, what does all this do? And there's a book. This is the most puzzle. We've been here before. This is the Kadish Gallery. We did this on my tour that I gave of the city of Denis. Is this actually connected to the city or no? This is not. This is a private version of it. So these are all puzzles, or solutions to puzzles, that lead you to where you need to go. It's really interesting. So you have to wonder, like, what is the answer to this puzzle that you're looking for. So we're gonna start writing some stuff down. Hey, Napoki this. Would you like a compliment for you, or would you like to give that to someone else? It's up to you, my friend. I'll give it to you. How's that sound? I'm guessing you're the Pokédex. We missed you. First of all, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. One of the things I always like to compliment is the energy and enthusiasm of the youth. Always a good one. So we can also technically take a picture of this too. Well, little good it'll actually do us because you can't see much, but we're going to take a picture anyways. And we're going to draw this out. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to be doing some note taking. It's going to be a minute. It's going to take just a minute. There we go. Last but not least. Oh, jeez. I messed that up. Let's hope that last one's good enough. It's pretty gnarly. It's pretty gnarly. Next one. This guy here is Trixie Hobbit. Okay. Let's try to get this right. We can also take a picture. Let's take a picture just in case. Close enough. Let's hope it's enough. But we're also going to make a picture. You guys are going to see this wonderful art too at some point. I know the answer to that one already. Okay, so this one, red. Get my numbers. So you don't know what these puzzles mean yet, and you'll know when you see them, right? So red is, let's see, 2, 4, and 3. Okay, 2, 3, 4. White is 1. 3 and 2. 1, 2, 3. And then green is 2, 3, 4 as well. Is it the same? Hold on. Two, 3, 4. And then blue is 1, 3, 4. I must be getting this wrong. I'm getting this wrong somewhere. White, 1, blue, 1. Okay. So 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Hmm? 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 Hmm. That's not right. I'm missing something here. I'm misinterpreting one of these symbols. That's a 1. That's a 1 as well. That's... I think white is maybe 2, 3, 5. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Not worried about it. All right. This is another tough one. Ready? The first one. Tree. Same. But with spots. Same. But with crazy lines going this way. Okay. That's 1. 2. Square. 3. Same but no. Same but no. Doot, doot, doot. Okay. 4. Wow. Okay. Four has these symbols here. Let's double check. Yep. Okay. Next is, and then last but not least, wow. That was fascinating. I know you guys are all enthralled right now. 5. Circle the line. circle and circle with us. There's 6 is, wow. Okay. Tree. 1, 2, 3. And then same, but with lines on the side. And then same, but with pillars. See if I can remember that. Let's also take a picture. There we go. I know. Where do you get the guns? Sorry, old hamster. I apologize for this silliness. This silliness of puzzle solving. I'm trying to do this legit. And to kind of also highlight the puzzles themselves. I just lost like half the viewers from taking notes because this one is very much a Myst puzzle, and I can easily just look it up and do it. No, dude, a-hole hamster, it is totally okay. It is totally okay. I don't mind in the slightest. Honest. All right. So this first one, we need that there, and we need to move. Oh, snap. Okay. So first, let's get that in place. And then we need to That's correct. That's what we're doing. I'm hoping. Worst case scenario is I can always look it up. Whee! Ready for this? Ready? Whee! Terrifying. This is where my brain's like, don't mess this up. You can do this. You got this. You've played this a million times. You understand the logic and reason behind these puzzles. Alright, we're going on to number 2. There's a handprint here that is easily missed. Right? It's here. It is here, right? I'm not crazy. There's a borrow stone here. I don't need that right now, though. Isn't there a handprint here? Maybe not. This is number 2. Let's see if we can do this. Okay. Woo! This one's a lot more complicated. Alright. That goes there. The big long one. Alright, so it connects there. Right? Yeah, I'm right with that. I'm correct in that assessment. And then where does this one go? Oh boy. I don't think I notated that one. Let me look at my picture. Let's go look at the key. Kadish Gallery. A little bit sticking out. Let's see. There we go. I think that's correct. I think that is correct. Yes, that would be correct. I see where that is. Okay. I see. We're starting to understand. If any seasoned Myst players... Oh, there it is. There's the handprint. I was going crazy. Thank goodness I didn't miss it. Oh, that would be embarrassing. Because to get back to the spot is incredibly difficult. Okay, let's see if I can do this one. This one I didn't do so great in my drawing. Of course, it's the most complicated one, so, you know. Alright, the long one is there. That's where it should be. The short one's here. Oh boy. Oh, okay. This is a full circle now. Let's look at my picture. Okay, so the tall one is going across. That one there is right. So let me redraw this little portion here. Through its center. Speeds up with that. Let's see how that goes. Let's take a look. Okay. That stays there. That goes here, like that, and then I need to move this one now. Oh boy. There we go, we did it! Oh, that feels good. To do this like legitimately, like with doing it the right way without having to rely on stuff, it still feels good. Because like after doing it the first time, I just relied on guides at that point to go through the stuff. I didn't have to, you know, do the muscle work, the leg work of any of that. Oh, that feels good. That feels good to get through that. That is a tough one. That's a real tough one. And so now this door opens. This place is a fascinating place. And now we need to close it. Reset the puzzle. What that does is reveal the handprint. Oh, that feels real good. That feels good to do that legit. Alright. This is another difficult puzzle. This is a tricky one. This involves moving these things to block out the light and illuminate other sections of this of this maze of sorts. It's really interesting how this one goes. So like you need to make this pattern. Let's just light some stuff here real quick. I'm gonna be filling around with this stuff to kind of get a path. I think that's right. Okay. This is a tough one. I don't remember how to get this right. Oh, we're starting to get it. There's the path. Okay. So definitely we need that one. That's necessary. That's not. Oops. No. Maybe I had it right. I think that is. Let me see. Change this around. Yeah, that's right. I forget exactly how this goes. I don't think I'm supposed to be touching the light. I don't remember. Let's see. Let's see if it is. 'Cause I don't think it's light that we're supposed to be touching. This was like a play, a trick on people. I think that it's like a path that they have to follow to get to the door. But the door isn't why you're there. The door is a red herring. Yeah, the door's a red herring. Okay, let's try that again. So I'm pretty sure you gotta follow the shadow and get to the center. So yeah, what happened is, sorry, with the first puzzle was that the gallery gives you clues to these things. And so what I was doing was copying down the patterns. So I'll show you. So the first puzzle was this, right? And these were the 3 different telescopes. And what I was doing was copying the patterns that needed to be done in that telescope. Once you did so, it opened the door. The second puzzle that we're doing is this one here, where we're creating this pathway. In reality, we're not supposed to be following the light. We're supposed to be avoiding the light, I believe. And I think I've got the path done correctly. And we're supposed to walk our way towards the center. Where then a falling platform happens. It was this idea that, like, oh, you're supposed to follow the light. And I think you're not supposed to. It's been a while. It's been a long while. So the gallery is all about puzzles. Myst puzzles. just want to make sure I got this right. I think I do. Let's see. Let me look at my pattern. My thing. Yeah. That's right. This is interesting. I just don't remember where I need to go in this path. I forget. It's been so long. You don't want to follow the path of the light. Might have to rethink this. Maybe I didn't get this done just right. I swear I did. There we go. There we go. Nailed it. I did it. Proud of myself for doing this. Yeah, the door is a red herring. Then what you want to do is you want to close this up. What does it reveal? Nothing. Alright. So now we're on the next step of this place. So it also helps to have the context of what this age is about in reality. You don't know this until you get near the end. It very much is helpful to have that context, though. Oh, look at this place. Oh, I want the Renaissance to paint this place. Look at it. This is a vault. This whole place is a vault by King Kadish. Or, he was not king, but he was a guild master. And he built this vault, this age, to be a vault for his treasures. And you're solving the puzzles that will lead you to his vault and opening it. This place is very cool. That'd be awesome for Ren to paint. I know it's like, it's not iconic, right? It's not an iconic video game scene, but man. And then you have this place here. Oh. The leaves are falling from super on high. So you have this temple here. This big machine. And you push this button. It's rolling, it's moving, and it's illuminating. And just wait. We want to wait. This is actually a part of the puzzle that I already knew the answer to. So you need to give it a second. Why this is the case, I don't necessarily know how this works. I just know that the thing tells you that you need to do it this way, but I don't know if there's any mechanical reason as to why this works. So, the ball up there has moved and is like reflecting light. But over a certain period of time, it has to happen before you push the button again, and it rotates even more to create a different pattern of light illuminated on the floor of this. It's absolutely stellar. So we're gonna wait a couple minutes. You have to wait a couple minutes. It's tricksy. It tells you to do so in the painting. It's not like it's a, a very arbitrary thing. It does actually say so. While we're here, we get ourselves some rental stuff. The tree is a big one. It's a tree that grows in like real time based on how long you've had it. and it'll grow bigger and bigger and bigger in your Relto. Yeah, this is Kadish Taleza. The only place where you get to view the outside world. There's these monolithic trees. It was an MMO. This is an MMO, Sakanakao. And while the current thing that I'm doing is a single player like moment, it doesn't have to be single player. I can invite people into this age and they can explore it with me and help me solve the puzzles. This is a private instance. So this is, of course, based off of Uru Ages Beyond Myst. It was originally meant to be an MMO, and Ubisoft was like, nope, make it single player. And so they released Uru Ages Beyond Myst and Uru Complete Chronicles, Path of the Shell, and Tidani, the expansions. And it's free. Oh, absolutely. So the reason why I'm playing this, Sakanakao, is because tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, they are announcing new official content for the server. And I wanted to go through this. This is my all-time favorite game. And so I was super excited. Beyond excited, actually. Because I never thought it possible. It's a first-person, third-person. My guy looks very much like me, balding and ugly. Oops. I do not want to go to my Relto. It has custom player housing. And it has, custom characterization stuff where you get different outfits and things like this. Is really cool. And there are people still online, absolutely. There you can explore the city of Denis. You wait. You just wait. Alright, so now the marble has moved and new light has happened in this area. And we were told by the painting that the path of the trees would guide you. And so you follow the path of the trees. I'm going to make sure I walk on only trees. Nothing more. Scared me. Enthusiastic crying. Exactly. I'll cry for you. Once we get to the end of this, tomorrow I will cry as well, probably. Because it died, I thought it was long dead. And it's not. Which makes me happy. Goodbye, elevator. Farewell. Now, why I love this so much, Sakanaka, is because it is a game rich in lore and world building on a monumental level. It's absolutely a pleasure. Oh, duh. Hold on. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. I know the answer to this puzzle. We got this. Hello, creatures. So this is a weight puzzle thing, but because of the pictures that we took, in our key, they'll help guide us in the situation. Oh, I didn't take a picture of this one. So what we had was, we saw they're colored things related to the 4 different levers, and the numbers 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4 in the Denis number system. What that means is you hit this one time, you hit this one 4 times, you hit this one 1 time, you hit this one 2 times. The numbers that are missing from a series of 1 to 4. That goes up. Technically, I could do something different to get the sparkly. I'm not going to do that right now. 1. 2. 3. 4. 1. One. 2. Dancing, dancing, dancing. Dancing, 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 dancing. Dancing, 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 dancing. Dancing, 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 dancing. We're doing this on our own. No need for guides. We're on the phone with the helpline. We got this. We got this. I'm proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself because, again, the only time I figured this out on my own was the first time I did this. And the millionth time afterwards, I always just used a guide because I didn't need to bother with it. I already solved it once on my own. I don't need to do it again, and so I'm doing this all again on my own. Haven't played in a while because it absolutely made me incredibly sad to play this game because I loved it so much, and it was dead, and there was never going to be anything new. And now there will be tomorrow at 3 p.m., which I will be here streaming for, just so you know. So just get ready for that. We're not going to get the sparkly right at this moment. That's for another day. Oh no, I have to reset this because I don't have the handprint. I have to get the handprint. Dang it. Okay. We have to go back. I'll put Myst 1 and 2. Okay. Oh, Sakanakawa abduction, so good. Okay, so listen, Sakanakawa, Myst 3, Myst 4, you don't need to play them. You don't. They do nothing to drive the plot forward, and the only information that you need for those coming into Myst Online, which would be the next chronologically, is that Atris and his wife, Catherine, had another daughter. They had a daughter, Isha. Their desert bird. That's it. She was really talented. They were prepping her to be the quote-unquote grower, the chosen one to restore Danae's society. And that's what you need to know going into this. And this is a story of her saying that she ultimately failed. It was insane for her family to believe that that was her role and purpose in life, that this place is dead and should stay dead, and that they should move on with their life. They're not wrong. Abduction was brilliant, and made me feel so good about where they were going. Reset things. Come on. Oh no, did I break this? I did. Okay. Nice! I mean, come on. The Valine number system? What madman developed such a crazy thing? Yep. It's beautiful. It's great. That Valine number system, though. You must know what I'm talking about. I really want more than anything to play play Abduction in VR. It's on PSVR, and I know it's a drop in quality overall, but I mean, to experience that in virtual reality, and I have the tools to do so, I'll take the drop in quality for it. It would be such an amazing experience to play Abduction in VR, to be in that world. Oh man, that's a wild and crazy world. Ooh, I might be able to get the shiny. If I make a jump, I might be able to grab it. I'll definitely be able to grab it. Oh, come on, dude. There we go. Hey, let's try this. Yeah! Woo! Okay. Reset. What about Abduction do you love, Sakanako? I want to know. I love hearing the reasons why people love things. Because most people, when they say, oh, I love that game, and you ask them why, they're like, oh, I don't know, it was fun. And it's like, that's it? That's all you got? So 1, 4, 1, 2. Why is such a complicated question? Well, let me then, I love the spatial puzzles of the sphere. Very good. I can express at least mine for it. One of the things that I love astronomically is how they designed their puzzles. They did so in a way where they were taking into consideration everyone's movement in that world. The doors they closed, the doors they locked, the spheres they activated, the spheres they didn't. Those things are all taken into consideration. And it's just fascinating to go back to that. Blue text in the books. There are certain things, like, for instance, the story of them. I don't know if you remember this, and most of you all, and eventually you learn, and that's the case here as well. Oh, Sakanako, I think you would very much enjoy this game. I think you would very much enjoy this game, because that's very much the case here as well. On the surface, these are just puzzles that you solve, right? The words that are spoken to you, the words that you read in the books, they seem cryptic, unusual, strange. And then as you play, as you progress, they start to make more sense. And it's easy to lose sight of those things, to remember those things, to reflect on those things. But it makes a monumental difference, and you can definitely tell that there's a huge attention to detail to that stuff. Yep, and go look at it all again. Sakanako, you would love this game. I'm flat out going to just let you know right now. You will absolutely love this game. It is flawed because the controls are archaic. This is the early 2000s. They weren't using WASD. They're using the arrow keys. Okay, so like, yeah. It's a little old-fashioned in that way and takes some getting used to. The only thing I didn't like in Abduction was the Russian box. Everybody hates the Russian box in Abduction. Everyone hates it. I was like, oh, this is so Cyan Games. This is so Myst. This is such a Myst thing. And then it turned out to not be. And I was like, I figured at least I didn't spend too much time racking my brain on it. Because I was like, no, this stuff is actually not. There's no rhyme or reason to it. And that was what kicked me off on it. Because I was like, Cyan Games always sets rules and then plays by those rules. And that box didn't play by the rules. I was like, so therefore, it's not important. Me in face value, this just seems like another puzzle game, almost Portal-esque in nature, but the more I've watched, the more I can see how much the puzzles are a part of the world, and the depiction of the world is what the creators really cared about. It held you up for hours? Oh no! See, so many people I was reading were cursing the name of that box, and I understand why. Most people's brains are like, this is a puzzle, I'm gonna figure it out, and they're just trying to figure. When you dealt with a puzzle that was that Russian box, you're trying to figure out the rhyme and reason of the thing, but never coming to the conclusion that there's no rhyme or reason to it. And that's the crux. So we made it to the vault. This is the vault, the great vault of Kadish, the guy who believed to be the grower, the owner of the Watcher's Pub. He created this place here as a place to hold his treasures. Bad time, where the next connection to the thread was pretty on the spot. Oh yeah, so kind of call that. I'm just gonna use it. That age, in abduction was tough for me, because spotting that other thing, it was hard to make the connections of where everything was interlinking, where I needed to go, what I needed to do, and only until the very end did I realize this is where I need to go to progress. And it was a tough one. It was very challenging. All right, you guys ready for this puzzle? This is a mean one. All right. So number 1. Oh boy, it's been so. Oh boy. So 1 is this. Oh boy. I don't know how to solve this puzzle. The box in the way. I think it would have. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, some ladder in the distance or something. Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was one, like. Eventually, that box gets destroyed, as part of the thing, as the mechanism. But yeah. All right. So now I got to remember what's what here. So that one's been used. We're not doing that one. Shoot. See, what you do is these are the orders that you put them in. Of course, that's not correct. Let me just take a look up here at the bolt. This one's a tough one. I don't remember the answer to this puzzle of why it is the way that it is. All right. I think what I needed to do. What a time. What a timing. Hello, Raiders. Welcome to the stream. You've caught me with my pants down. How's it going, Critically Lit? How are you doing today? We are playing my all-time favorite game, Myst Online Uru Live, and you hit me. You caught me with my pants down. This is the moment. This is the moment. Thank you, Lip, for the shout-out. Yes, people should check out Critically Lit. It's an absolute delight. What were you playing? You were playing, Wind Waker. Great Zelda. Was one of my favorites. Oh no. Oh no, we got raids on our tail. You a barrel roll. We're playing my all-time favorite game, Myst Online Uru Live. This is a Myst MMORPG. Right now I'm in a private instance doing some puzzles. Right now, getting access to a vault. What I'll do is we have a handprint already in this area, so we can come back here pretty quickly. I'm gonna have to make a sketch of some stuff. We gotta do some drawing. Or I can take a picture. That's what I'll do. I'll take a picture. You ready for this? Taking a picture. Blink. Hopefully that's going to help me in this. We're going to try to figure this out. So, okay. This is in the series of the Myst franchise, right? So it's kind of complicated. The first game is about a man named Adris, who's a member of the Dini race. These people who had the craft and ability to write books that would link to other worlds. Right? He had 2 sons. They were corrupt, evil. He trapped his sons, but also got himself trapped. And you had to save him. That was Myst 1. Easy. Myst 2, he's like, my father, Gen, I trapped him in a place of his own design, but it's falling apart and I can't save it. My wife's there too. I need to get my wife. And bring my dad back, but trapped in a different book that we can take with us. It's complicated. You do so, but you also learn about the Dini civilization. You learn about its number system, its language, and it's very complex in its world building. Super fascinating. Myst 3 and 4, you can skip them. Brothers were bad. They have a daughter now, and she's good. Not important. Wasn't made by Cyan Games. Not really important. You can skip them. This one, people on the planet Earth have felt a call of adventure, and they arrive in this place in New Mexico that leads them down this large cavern into the city of the Dini people. They've been long dead, and the civilization is empty. The city is empty, and you explore that city. You talk to Atris's daughter, who was being preened to be the chosen one to rebuild everything and be, the grower, this fabled, prophesied savior. She fails miserably, and she's, a little crazy, but she's also like, the Dini weren't good people. We don't need to restore that. But there's also this other organization of people called the Dini Restoration Council, who are like, no, we need to restore this. We need to appropriate this culture. We need to, manifest destiny here. Hello. And she's like, no, it all needs to burn to the ground. And so she's like, follow this path, go to these ages, do these things so that you can see and understand the crimes that these people have committed, why this culture is not worth saving. But we can use the art of creating links to books in order to learn from their mistakes and not be terrible human beings. And I love when the chosen one fills me. She's Viking games that plays out a lot more in Myst 5. You don't know this about Isha yet. She has already failed. In Myst 5, you're following the trail of Isha. It takes place in the middle of Uru, but the trail that you're following is like recordings and journals of her before all of this happened, of her trying to understand her role as savior and how it's not working. It's not working at all. It's bad. So anyways, yes, it's amazing. We're going to take a short break from puzzle solving to show you some things. Because one, I'm stumped on this one. Whew! I totally forget the method to this game's madness on that one in particular. This is your player housing in the MMO. This is the Relto. It's your personal place. This is notating your progress on this major path. It alters and changes as you play. And throughout the game, you collect these little pages. These are Relto pages that add customization to your home. So like for instance, oh, I need that water cooler break. For instance, I added a page called, it's a tree. Once I finish this, there's going to be a tree planted. Like, I think it's this guy right here. And it grows in like real time. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Like the more you play. It's really interesting. But yeah, you collect those as you explore. And that customizes your player. Then you can activate and deactivate them. It's really cool. Birds. This calendar here. We're collecting these shiny things to fill out this Dini calendar. That notates their months and such. As you go through the world, you find these little sparklies, and you grab them, and something cool will happen once you do it. I'm going to grab a quick water break because my throat is parched. I'm going to be back in a fraction of a second, and we're going to go look at the city maybe a little bit. I'm going to show you guys the city. Most of you have seen this already, but and also see where some people are and say hi. And then try to figure out Kadish to Lisa and finish that up and finish the storyline. Be right back. Hi. So it's an adventure game, but it also has multiplayer aspects to it that are interesting. Games that people can play together. I'm going to show you guys some things that I didn't show on the previous tour of things. J-Rod, how's it going, my man? So we're going to go into the city proper. Oops. Whoa. No. Take a ride to the Nexus. So the Nexus is this system, this electronic system. We have this multi-tool called the key. This thing is a puzzle in and of itself, right? And so it can organize notes and messages that you send to people or receive to people, used as a communication tool, but it can also be used within the world for different purposes. Chris, yes! Oh man, Chris, it's a pleasure to have you. How are you doing today? Yeah, we're still doing Myst stuff. So I want to show you some things. The key is on our hand. We place it into this thing here, which activates the terminal. So it gives us access to our personal private links. Public links, which are the neighborhoods that people belong to. Private links that people share with you. And then city locations. So like right now, the Watchers Pub, where the new content's going to be unrolled, 15 people are hanging out there right now. But the city itself, there's only 4. And you're like, oh yeah, that's nothing. And that's a lot for this game. It's been dead for a long time. So we're going to the library. I want to show you some really cool stuff here. Show you an age. A game age. It's Jalak the Door. It's a really interesting thing that a lot of people didn't utilize. And it was really cool. So this is the city of Denis itself. We're in now. It's an underground cave system, and we're on the island of Aegura. Hey, how's it going? Hello, how are you today, Marty? Nothing. It's okay, Marty. And we're on the island of Aegura. It's a centralized island in the city. So there's Karath's Arch. It's one of the great kings who created the guild system, which Yisha, the daughter of Aegis, believes is the complete and utter downfall of their civilization. Oh, someone's jumping over there. So yeah, this is an island here, which is really crazy. The update is tomorrow, J-Rod. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, I will be here for that. So here's a crazy thing. You see this lake? You see this orange glow that permeates throughout this cavern? You can also see in the distance here the city, the main residential areas, the common people. They all lived in the city that's along the cavern wall in the distance. You can see the places right here and such. The Aegura is the place for the up and ups, the elites, the kings, the guild masters, the rich and the royal. But you see how this water is all kind of orange and brown? What that means is that this place was self-illuminated by these plankton, this bioluminescent plankton. And after the civilization had died, there's pollution things that kind of cause them to die out. And players were tasked to bring life to that stuff. So there's an age you can go to. It's a manufacturing age where you're making recipes for nutrition pills for those plankton that dissolve into the water and ignite them. They get excited and start to glow more. And people were tasked with doing this over long periods of time to change the light levels of that. Eventually, when it was actually a live service, they had a system of tracking its ability to light up the lake, but because the game had died, we never got to truly see that come to fruition. We never got to see that happen, sadly. So we're gonna go look at a place here called Jalactador. It is a game age, and it's really interesting how they utilize the key. This is a great library. We're only in a small portion of it. The rest of it is actually closed off. More would have been made when the game was actually active, but once it died, it sadly died. That's probably... So yeah, Chris K. There was a journal of some sort that talked about like oil or something being pumped into the lake from a place as damage and destruction from the earthquakes and stuff that were happening after they had passed, and how they fixed that, and how they needed to revitalize it at that point. So this is Jalactador. It's a simple age, right? You have just these things here, these tiles, right? You're like, this isn't a big deal. But what actually you can do, what's really cool, is you can use your key as a multi-tool for this. So you can set up a barrier so that you can't fall off. Never mind. That was not... Hold on. Come on down, guys. Never mind. I thought I might have deactivated the barrier. Let's see. There. I activated the barrier now. So you're using your key as this multi-tool for playing around with this thing. And once you left click something to raise it, you touch the sides to lower it. That's the running joke. Jalactador. Did you lock the door? There you go. And you can also summon little objects that you can push around and utilize. And of course you can clear it. You can add. Woo! And you can make games out of this. What is entirely up to you. A lot of people never utilized it because it's hard to enforce the rules and be on this be on the honor system, and so people would play these games with it. It's really cool. I dug it a bunch. Not a lot of people played it though. It's really interesting what they can be done. All right, so we're going to go try to figure out this puzzle. I'm not gonna lie, I may result in looking it up because I genuinely don't have a clue. Let's see if... Yeah. Let's take a look. We're heading back here. Take a look at this. This is the place that's... this is the Kadish Gallery. This is a gallery made by King Kadish, or he wasn't a king, but he was the big ruler guy who believed himself to be the grower when Dani was still alive. He made a bunch of ages to prove this, and was worshipped, kind of as a god. When everything went to hell, things happened. It's interesting. Okay, so I'm looking at number 1, and let me look at my picture. Of Kadish Taleza. Okay, so 1 is pyramid with the sun up, doors. Okay, let me look at something here. Okay. So, Sun up. Outdoors. That. So this ran as, let's see. We're trying to match these symbols up and what this actually means. Alright. So the tree, 3 lines. That's not okay. There we go. So 6, 2, 4, 6. And I'm guessing we're moving clockwise. So it goes from 6 to 2, 3, 4. That one's 6, 2, 3, 4. And this one here is 6, 4, 5. Wait, is it 6? No, that's 1. That's odd. That is 6, 4, 5, 6. This is fascinating. It's alright, guys. This is not very very exciting. I do apologize. That one. And the next one is 6, 5, 2. 6, 5, 2, 6. And this one here is 5, 3, 1, 4. And that one is again 5, 4, 3, 2. It's 5, 4, 3, 2. Trying to get my brain wrapped around this. This is really something else. So that's 1. 6, 4, 5, 6. I gotta figure this out. This is interesting. So what would the order for this be? We know that's the first. So when it does that, I'm trying to see about like maybe if there's a correlation between the patterns at the point that that image comes up. This is tough. Hold on one second, chat. I'm gonna turn you guys off. I'm going to hold on. We're gonna look. Let me look this up. You guys can see my wonderful world of my desktop. I'm gonna look this up and try to understand it at least. We'll see. Don't mind all my files from my downloads. Okay, we're going to Kadish. Taleza. So, you'll see the 4 levers, we did that. The 6 buttons. There's a stained glass object in the canister that showed how to figure out the combination. Doesn't explain to me why. We're gonna figure this out. Why isn't that? This is interesting. Okay. Wonder why it is that. I'm going to have to figure that out at some point, and I will explain it to you. I'm also a firm believer of, like, it's okay to get hints and stuff like this when you're trying to understand your stuff, as long as it's super important that you understand the puzzle. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna just move along. I'm totally stumped right at this moment. I figured this out as a youth, as a young pup, but today it escapes me. I am old. My brain is feeble. But how are things going with critically lit? How are things going with ye old oh, I just gotta climb back up. That's no big deal. With Wind Waker, how's that going? Hopefully it's going well. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself. I want to figure out why that is the way it is. I have no answer. I have no answer to that. Why is it 152346? Why is it 152346? If anyone has the understanding of the puzzle, I would love an explanation. I totally cannot remember the logic and reasoning behind it. It's been so long at this point that my brain has turned to jelly. When I solved it the first time, this age didn't seem too hard. I got caught up on the lights, the light puzzle on the floor, and I got caught up on this last one. But I remember getting through it, not looking up guides, because at that time I didn't have access really to the internet, and to like figuring out stuff through that, like looking up walkthroughs and such. It's interesting. We'll handle this. This is really cool. This is a really cool age. We're almost done with the Path of Isha. We'll finish that up and then we'll probably call it a night. I'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. One. That's not right. Let's see. Let's see. First, press the first button first. Oh, okay. So it's 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1. Jesus! Horatio! How's it going, man? Horatio, can you explain the final Kadish Toleza puzzle? For the love of goodness. My brain can't possibly fathom it. And I have done all of it by hand. I remember doing it as a youth. I don't remember why it is the way that it is. So we need to do it in this order, apparently. So 1. Here's the order of the buttons we pressed. 1, press 1 first. Press the second button third. Fourth. Press the fourth button fifth. This is second. And this is sixth. Welcome, by the way. Getting it's 3 p.m. It is actually tomorrow is the event. The unveiling is at 3 p.m. So I will be there for the unveiling. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. 1, 3, 4, 5, 2, 6. Why is that? I need to know. My brain. I'm gonna probably look at like Universal Hint System or something like that to better understand it. And look at what we are greeted with. There's a corpse. A really cool like shield, a throne, gold, riches. Yep, there he is. There's Kadish. He has hand in the Lincoln or near the Lincoln Book at all times. Could he ever realize such failure? What kind of end is this? Impossible unless. What could that mean? So there's a handprint up there. Jump, buddy. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Stoked for New Age! Oh, dude. Poppy Tropes. Poppy Tropes. I am so stoked for New Age. I've missed one of the cloths somewhere. I missed one of the cloths somewhere. Oh no. Oh no. Well, let's do this thing real quick. I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. Yeah. Let me permit. 1 second. Could be 2. Blink. You can post the link, absolutely. Oh, I need to close the door, I think. I think closing the door reveals the thing. The handprint. Like the place is empty now. And you can find throughout here little shards of things. I have conquered the stream. These streams, said to flow of their own will, now flow where I desire. You get the pith helmet. Look at me! I'm pithy now! We got this. Super important. Let me do this. Powers of gods, and I now have those powers. So another world in which she saves Kadish. I don't know if you know about the Guild of Greeters website. Chris, KB2. I was once a member of the Guild of Greeters. After Mula opened, they weren't taking any new applicants, and I really, really wanted to be one. And I spent my time hanging out and helping people, and I've saved his life. They kept saying, like, no, we don't have any new applicants, and I was pretty insistent on it. And at a certain point, I kind of gave up and I left the game to just move on and play other stuff. And apparently, like, the day after I left the game, they were like, you're in. And then I was like, oh my gosh. I came back, like, 6 months later, and I was like, for real? And they're like, yep. So we need to leave and come back to the handprint. That music is great. Yeah. That was a long time ago. Logged in the first time in forever, and there were actually people in the city. How nice is that? How nice is that, right? I think the other cloth print is behind the vault door. I'm hoping. I forget where the other cloth print is, and I'm dreading it. I hope I didn't miss it somewhere. I hope I didn't miss it somewhere. It's not on the vault door. Where is the cloth? I totally missed a cloth piece somewhere. Oh boy. Oh boy. Breathe me. Let's see. So. Okay. That's where I need to go once I get the last cloth print. Please don't tell me I missed the one in the beginning. I'm pretty positive I didn't, but please don't tell me I did. That would stink. That would make me sad. Let's see. I think I have to just push this button over here. And it's gonna pull everything up and maybe reveal one. Can I even... Yeah, let's see. Maybe that's what it is. I forget. Tree? Let me look at the guide real quick. Base of the support. I got that one. Oh no, I didn't. I did it. There's one at the very beginning. No. No. Hold on. Can I push this button again? Make this go down? No. No. The one in the very beginning. No. The... No. Hold on. can't link back from there, though. Right? I can't link back to the normal one from the fixed one, right? Alright. Hey, Chateau Ruby, thank you for coming in. It was a pleasure to have you. Have a wonderful evening. I hope to see you all tomorrow when all this beautiful stuff happens. I can't wait to see what we have. I'm so excited. Okay. So, over here. Right, it is somewhere around here. Yes? No? Maybe? I thought it was. Where's the first one? The first one's around here somewhere. Is it up above? Let's see. Let's see what we got. I'm astounded and dumbfounded by my own incompetence in this moment. It is not here. Let's look at the guide real quick. So it says, right back in the alcove. Okay, there's a stingless object that showed you what you need. You can now see things in the center, rotating, and turn right and continue along the path until you get to the end. Yeah. Okay. So there's one there. Okay. Path. Go right until it ends and turn around. That's the cloth. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe it. And did the thing reset too? I think I reset reset everything. Let me take a look and see if the puzzle got reset. Let's take a look. Yep, puzzle got reset. Hooray! Okay. Bam. It's that one. Resetting puzzles. Trying to jump off things I shouldn't do. Luckily, this is the only one that I really need to kind of do again. The other ones are pretty, like, I remember how to do them. These ones, I'm like, hold on, let me look at my notes here. How's everyone doing tonight? I hope you all are doing well. Do apologize for this wonderful stint of having to redo these puzzles again. I'm sweating like a pig now. I'm like, oh my gosh. But I'm doing great. I want to finish this moment. Also know that I am a stay-at-home dad. It is late at night. I do have a 2-year-old who loves to wake up in the middle of the night freaking out. So I do, if she does get up, I do have to call it a night pretty abruptly. So I do appreciate your patience in this situation. All right, so let's see. Number 2. That stays where you are. Next up is... Hold on, did this one stay the same? Yes. Hold on. What? Yeah, that one works. That one's still right. Did just the first one change? Redoing the puzzles. Treat it like a retrospective, exactly. Okay. Door's not open. Let's see. Okay, so this one's not right. Maybe the other one wasn't reset. I feel like it was, but I could be completely wrong. I think that's right. No, that is not right. That's how it is. Let's go back. Redoing the puzzles. This is really interesting because I actually went through this whole thing with another person playing this, and I was just following them through the age and like looking at all the different stuff that was happening as they were doing it. Is really interesting. Yeah, this isn't right. So one stays there. That looks right. That looks right. I feel like that's right. Call me crazy. I think that looks right. Yeah. Doink, 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 doink. That one. Those ones there. So did I get the other one wrong? Let me double check the other one. I feel like I'm going crazy. Myst does this to you. It does this to you. It gets into your brain sometimes. It makes you go crazy. I might have to get a visual representation of this to get my brain back on track. Let's see. Once this is done, we're like done. We've got this. Like it's all done. Okay. So boink, 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 boink. Yeah, that's right. That is correct. So now I gotta figure out what I'm doing wrong. Let me look at my key too. Maybe my key will help me figure this out. When we get to the other one, we'll take a look at the second one and see if I'm just losing it. I took a picture with the key. We'll see if it's right. Oh, Kadish, what were you doing, buddy? Making some crazy machinations. Okay. Okay. So that one there with a little dot at the end. Big guy. Little guy. That thing. That thing. That thing. Right? Let's see. Oh, okay. No, it's not entirely right. Then. Let's see. So what did that one, that one play? Oh, stuck there. That's why. Bam! That's correct. Much better. It wasn't perfect. Hooray! We figured it out. I just missed that one little bit. That little dude. That little dangly bobbler. Oh, the dangly bobblers. But now I don't need to close that door anymore because I got the piece. And now we're going to walk in third-person mode, in the shadows, to the center. No touching the light. Oh no, do I have to redo the thing? I have to redo the thing, don't I? I don't remember what ones I pushed. I think I pushed this one. I think I pushed that one. That looks about right. I think I pushed this one. That doesn't look about right. I think I pushed this one. That one looks right. Was it this one? That does not look right. Me and my stupid pith helmet and khakis. Let's push this one. That one looks right. There we go. That's the pattern. Okay. We're walking, not touching the light. We're walking. I apparently touched the light at some point. Let's try that again. I always like to run back over here and restart things in my brain. Okay. No running, just walking. No touching the light. There we go. Hooray! No touching the light. No touching. Bam. We're making our way back. The trials are almost complete. Of course, I had to reset the lever one, so we'll be doing that again too. Hooray! My favorite part. Man, this view is so stellar. You gotta stop and appreciate it. It makes all of this puzzles definitely worth it. I'm going to take a second again, once again, to reminisce. What's really great, and this is really cool too, and something that I think a lot of people don't really do or realize. So like this thing moves, but there's a page that you can get from there's a borrow stone that you can touch in the city of Agura, on the island there, that puts you on the top of this thing. And so what you do is you go there, you have your friend visit the age, come down here and push the buttons while you watch everything kind of transform here in that process. It's really cool. I love it. Anyways, we're waiting. Slowly but surely, we're waiting. How is everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing super well. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Have myself a water break. Tomorrow I'll play more things. For those who are just joining, who are new to the channel, I play a lot of everything. New, old, doesn't matter. Play a lot of computer games, like old PC, DOS, those sorts of things. I play a lot of older games in a virtual bedroom space, something you kind of explore and interact with TVs and game consoles and stuff like that. It's all projected on really cool like TV screens. It's really awesome. And I'm a lover of everything. So like I love talking about game design and design philosophy, these sorts of things that really define games in really interesting ways that most people don't really think about. So like talking about, you know, the shortcomings of Uru and I did grab the Relto page. Yes, Horatio. I did grab the Relto page. The tree one? Yeah. And so I love talking about like design, what works, what doesn't in games, and how those have how they impact how we connect with software and with other people too. And one of the big reasons why I love MMOs, even long dead ones, is because they're really kind of an awesome cultural highlight in how people interacted with software even back in the day. Thank you for having my back, Horatio. I appreciate it, by the way. How are you doing today? Are you ready for tomorrow? Are you stoked? On a scale of 1 to stoked, how stoked are you? So I need to do 1, 4, 1, 2. 1. My stoked goes to 11. I like it. What's your expectations? What are you expecting to be there? I mean, obviously we're getting like a library age that's going to connect us to fan-made ages, or this one person's, the creator's, stuff. Yeah, some people were having some pie in the sky, like projections of what they were going to expect to see, and I'm just like, I'm a dreamer. I commend you for those high expectations, but that's probably not going to be the case. We're not getting the guild halls, we're not getting the rest of the city. Like, that's not happening. Oops. You have to dance in that moment. Oh, have you? Okay. Is it cool? I know it's probably not going to be deep and rich in puzzles. It's going to be more just kind of exploring and like reading the journals and stuff. I'm sure. So it's like a choice selection on the Gen chart or something? Like, the creme de la creme. Something kind of really encapsulates the high quality content that Siam would like to put on their official servers. I'm stoked to see it. I fiddled around in the Gen chart, but nothing really. I didn't really come across anything that I thought was like super exciting or super interesting. I'm using my voice to text on my Fire TV, and it stinks. Hey, you know what? I don't think you're wrong. A voice to text typically is like, I'm sorry, what did you say? It's like, yeah, sorry. Alright, we finally did it. Hooray! We are going to retouch the handprint in the vault because I don't want to have to do that again. In case the worst case scenario happens and I fall, I don't want to do that again. I don't know about you guys. Come on. Okay. Oh, so the Minkata test shard. Okay. Very cool. I was always of the very much like the expectation there's going to be, you know, something from Gen, but I guess Minkata makes sense. It's testing to see if everything works, of course, and fits with the server properly. Doesn't cause everything to just completely break. Oops. Doing this all wrong. All right. There we go. All right, this is the last one. Very creepy. Very creepy.
The bones of Guildmaster Kadish speak louder than words. His bones are the bones of Denis. He clung to the teachings of good King Negan, who required good citizens to cling to their treasure. This Kadish you have seen would not give back, would not return, would not let go. He had long been one of the wealthiest of the Denis, owning more than he could possibly make use of. He built ages to protect the extra, and when the fall came, he clung to his possessions over all else. And so you see only death in his vault. Extravagant death. It is an image of Denis. The journeys are complete. Now take the final pillar. Take it, but hear all I've said.
Listening.
It's the whispers and murmurs that reveal the simple truths. You hold the precious soul of a Barrow in your age, in your hand. Such things are not meant to be held. Do what I do. I have learned things, seen things, written things they never thought possible. I have seen the real treasures that are protected by the petty fences of their rules. I have found the precious gold buried deep beneath the weighty mountains of their laws. This is my journey too. I am returning what has been given. These years I've spent, this path I've traveled, this gift I've been given, this purpose weighs on me, my burden, the legacy of my father Atris. For we are shaping Denis. We will mold what comes after. We cannot keep the power and the pride from ruining this new Denis, but we can prepare those who will read between the lines. The least are returning. The stream in the cleft is returning. Life is returning. The fissure is returning. The circle will be completed when you give back what you have taken. You must return.
Okay. Is that it? Are you done talking? Thank you. Okay, what's the symbol? Okay. I have got. Okay. Got our symbols. Jumping. Whoa! Go. Dude, thank you, Horatio. I appreciate it immensely. I only had to cheat once. I only had to look at the guide one time. Just that final Kadish Taleza puzzle really got to me. It really got to me. I was like, I can't believe it. Yep. So like whee. So what we need to do is take them back now. So what we do is we go into each age in particular. Garrison. I think I am right where I need to be. Yeah, right where I need to be. We're in Greason, back in Greason. And we're going to run jump. The person did not. I hit the Z key instead of the shift key. So of course he didn't run. That's my lot in life right now. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me because it's a ton of fun. It's a no joke, it is my #1 all-time favorite game. And that is going up against competition that is really awesome games. And the things that make this so magical to me is its huge world building, right? It is Tolkien-esque in nature. It is gigantic. And it is worthy of everyone's time, I feel. Because it also talks about some really interesting concepts and ideals that aren't usually common in finding in games. Things like a cultural appropriation. The DRC is definitely, you know, manifest destiny, culturally appropriating Dene society for their own personal gain. It's like, come on, man. Like, everything is the best. The Dene are perfect. Oh my gosh, I love them. They're not really perfect. Okay. Alright, Grayson, let's return your thing. I've got your thing marked. You are little seashell. And now things have changed, though. Look, we are now falling into the cavern itself, the islands within Dene. I'm gonna do this a little bit out of order because oops. Because I know that I want to get the patterns right, make sure they're in the right orientation on the grounds. They do still hold up amazingly. They did a phenomenal job in terms of just the graphical fidelity. And also it's not just graphical fidelity, it is art design, right? So it's how they visually created these aesthetics and architectures that are very distinctly Dene, very distinctly Myst. And those things stand much taller than a lot of people, you know, would want. Alright, so seashell to the right of the seashell, because that one's in there. These two are mixed around. You guys are mixed around. Whoop. That's why I did this. Because I just kind of guessed on the patterns. To the right of the seashell is the squiggles. Okay. Design, mood, atmosphere, the unique qualities of just the visual aspects, the color. That's super important. And just sound design, monumental. Yeah, because you don't notice. Oh, do you guys want to come in and do a cleft party? Or the fissure? Let's see. Who's out and about? Not many people get to do this anymore. Everybody's done the story. Everybody hangs out in the Relto and decides to hang out on the fissure while it slowly decays. 19 people in the launcher pub. Let's go see. Hello. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. I'm just finishing off the Isha path, like the the beginning storyline stuff. If anybody wants to come in and stand on the ever expanding fissure in my Relto before it all crumbles down into nothingness, you're more than welcome to join me. I'm going to stand over here so we can line up. I'll stand over here so people can kind of, who wants to join, can line up over here where I am, and I'll share my Relto with people if y'all want. Tough crowd. That's funny. I love it. And the offer's open. No worries. Ah. Ooh. Whoops. Oh. Oh. No, you don't want to just stand and stare at a wall quietly. This is weird. Hey, pig bristles! You know you want to do this, pig bristles. Yes, no. No one. Weird. Alright. Well, I am off. Good luck, everyone. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, most are AFK waiting. They're the one to get a good spot for this tomorrow. I bet you. Hello, hello. Alright. Y'all are the only takers on this endeavor. Putting in the last 2 pillars. Be back. Fissure parties don't happen very often anymore. This is the thing for those who haven't seen it, is like when this happens, you're opening up a fissure in your Relto. And so people would like to just kind of hang out on top of it and get sucked into it when it opens up. Which only they get to experience in that process, you know? From that perspective. Yeah. Okay, good. Everything is worried about the way it should be. Woo! Falling down from the sky into a cavern deep below, into the town of Vigora. Almost there. Last but not least, Cadis Laser. Oh, ho, ho, ho. You stupid age! I fought in your general direction. Whee! This is it. Hey, not Pogedius, welcome back. How are you doing, man? You coming to see the very end of the main storyline of Myst Online, the first storyline. All the pillars are in. So what's life like being not Pokédex? Is it any better than being Pokédex? One must ask. Inquiring minds. What? Thank you for the cheer. Anonymous cheer. Oh, they're doing dancing. Woo! And they did. Goodbye. They did. Woo! That was great. Bam! And we're back into the cleft. Thank you for the cheer, not Pokédays. You gotta do it for the Toad Scream. It makes it. We're back where we all began, in the cleft. What does that mean? Interesting. We do have some stuff. You can now visit the cleft on your bookshelf, but there's something cool we're gonna do first and foremost. I'm not quite done yet. We're gonna hear the screaming toad for the rest of the night. I have a feeling. My body's ready. Oh my goodness. Alright. I think this door is open. Yeah. Okay. So we've got our imager here, so we need to set this up. I don't know if there's a particular like north, south, east, west or anything in this, but we'll do what we can. We'll just guess from here. Oh no. Quiet, you. I need squiggles. There we go. Squiggles. And then that one. And then target.
An ending has been written. You've done all that has been asked. You've traveled the full circle. You have returned to the cleft.
Thank you,
through the
Cheese.
fissure. You swam among the stars and saw the remnants of previous journeys. You have returned, and the pillars were returned. And now one more of the Barrow, the least, has been returned to Denis. You don't need to understand what that means. Only that the hand of the Maker has set it in motion. Now the circle is complete and the tree has begun to grow again. The path is now open, and so the symbol of the journey must change. Now the beginning is tied to the end. Now you can go where you wish. The restoration of Denis awaits. The deep city breathes. Uru again. And I will be concerned with other things. The least are becoming greater. They will now also affect the restoration. Perhaps not the way others had planned. You've learned about the pride of Denis. The great writers of worlds were infected with pride that became a cancer. It grew quietly beneath the surface, but it grew until Denis could live no more. But those things have been told. You understand it well, I think.
I do.
Let us end this cycle with rewards before we start the next cycle. Relto, the High Place. Your age now. It was the first age I wrote, a gift for my parents, and now much more. It reminds me of another home, another place. I even placed the library in the place it belongs. But Relto will change. It will be your soul, showing what you are.
I will do so, Ren. Thank you.
Only
It's
I
good to
could
see you.
write Relto.
This is
It's
the end.
beyond what the Denis could accomplish. Keep it. And I've given you clothing that represents your journey. Wear this to show others what side you've taken, when sides are taken.
Good night, cheese.
When you wear it, you will tell all that you side with us. With Yisha, with the Barrow. It will not always be easy. And another gift is here, a link to the cleft here in Tomana.
Yep.
You haven't been able to return here, but now you can. This book will take a special place on your shelf. This place is not meant to be shared. Return here alone when you wish to remember the cycle of things.
Yisha magic, baby. Man, it's good to see you. How are you, my friend? I hope you're doing well. We just beat the first part of Myst Online.
Returning.
There's more, but this is the first big chunk.
One final gift. Something that no Denis writer has been able to do for more than 10,000 years. I alone can write this gift. I alone am chosen to do this and more. This gift is what my father Atris would have longed to give his grandmother Tiana. What Tiana longed for and danced for. The gift of life in the desert.
Making it rain. Chateau.
Perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
It has not yet been written. Chateau, it's an MMO. Psych! Yeah, this is an MMO. What I'm doing is private, but there is a unified world. What one did I just get? What was the thing I just got? Let's see. Okay, yeah, allowing rain in your place. This actually allows the tree that you get later on to grow. So you open this up and you see Du Chateau. This is truly monumental. You'll see in a minute why. I will show you guys a little something. Since Ren is here, he can see some of this. He hasn't gotten to see any of this. And this is love. Pure, unadulterated love for this game. And the goggles are here somewhere. My love for this game is boundless. This is the technically the 5th in the series, even though the 6th one is Myst 5. And this is all about Denis. It's all about the civilization, about its people, its culture, and it's about discovering the city, and together. There's the Barrow. And now there's life in the desert. Flowers are blooming. This is where we started in the game, and this is how it has ended now. There's more to the game. There's the Path of the Shell, which is 2 other ages that are complicated. Probably the most. Alright, picked up the calendar. I don't need it. The most complicated. Sandy's nowhere to be found. Oh, we got Sandy's shirt though. Now I'm looking like a real cool guy with my pith helmet and Hawaiian shirt. Zandy's out there naked somewhere. So, Ren, let me show you this. Let me show you why I love this game and why I adore this game. And it boils down to a few very simple things. The first thing is, when you play this game, you get assigned a neighborhood where other people are assigned as well, right? And so watch. This is where my neighborhood is. It's decorated. It's fascinating. All of them look pretty much roughly the same. There's little minor differences between them. You can see that people are submitting pellet scores, which is an activity in Path of the Shell you get to do, as well as your neighborhood's overall pellet score. But you can see who's visited here, and what's really fascinating is that you get to share some things too. We're going to take a look and see who's visited recently. The top 10 Ioheek players. Ioheek is like this glorified rock, paper, scissors game, but it can be played with up to 5 players simultaneously. It's really cool. So Denise Girl, Ruby 19, Glissy, Yuko Hoon. Yeah, so like these are all the visitors. It tells you them. You can also do stuff like, watch this. Can I do this yet? I don't know if I can. Yes I can. All right. So you can take something like my first, right? And you can send it to the imager. And now my screenshot gets displayed there. This place is a living place. It is a place that is full of life for something that is dead, if that makes any sense. There's a clock here. There's a classroom here that teaches you things. Whee! So this classroom has the Dunny language here, and is actual like real working language that people will use to decipher the language and try to understand it and translate things like this. There's a number system. It's a base 25 number system. There's even like a gigantic, this book right here, or this right here talks about how they measure time, their days and months and all their time system is really fascinating. And this thing that we have over here is a working Denis clock. Actually does tell time. It's really interesting. I don't know what time it is. I don't know it off the top of my head. But what makes this so fascinating is the worlds, the things we see. There's the Great Zero. We'll get there. I just wanted to really finish the Path of Yusha. Um, we're going into the Nexus. This is you've got this thing called the key that I was using to put that picture on there. It's a puzzle in and of itself. What makes it so interesting is that you have to try to figure out the pictograms to what they do, what they function. And before, in earlier versions of this game, that key was even more confusing because it was all in Denis and you didn't understand what it meant, what it said. And it's crazy. But we're in the city proper. This is the island of Agura, which is a central island in this great underground cavern where the city of Denis is. And you can see this around the top here. This is the Dakota, is what it's called. And it's pretty much like a shopping and market area where people from the ferry terminal way down below take the goods and stuff that they've gotten from the main, quote-unquote mainland and brought over here for the rich and the wealthy and the guilds and stuff like that to purchase things. And everything has to go through Kareth's Arch. Kareth was the last great king. He set up the guild system and kind of abolished the monarchy of the Denis civilization. And man, definitely a beautiful sight. This place is so great. It's so interesting, so fascinating. One day we'll get access to the guild hall. It's down that hall. It's down that hall somewhere. We'll get there someday. Thank you, Pokédex. Thank you for the bits, dude. You're crazy. And it's a place to explore. It's just an amazing city. One that I love unconditionally. So there are people here. There are people out in the city. Those are the players right now that are in this city, walking around talking to people. And where we're going into right now is the museum. And they have artwork and stuff like that. These are historical figures that are actual ones in their lore. They're really fascinating and interesting. And there was content meant to be expanded on here. Later on, we'd have access to lower levels of this museum that would lead to this gigantic aquarium that would teach us about the fauna of the lake, of the creatures that reside there, and you'd be able to see them and have a better understanding of how the lake works. But right now, we have access to 4 different, essentially, these are the observational pod ages. And their goal is to have you explore this world. Don't worry, dude. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Pokédex. Every little bit helps, man. And I really do appreciate anything you're willing to give. Don't worry about it. You don't have to sub. You watching and hanging out and being company is more than enough. So you see this map of this world, right? And we have access to 4 different pods. There's a multitude of them over different areas. They all have different names. I think this is Negalon here. This is Payefarin, I think. Titsonot's in the ocean somewhere. And we have only access to 4 of many. And what they are, they're observational things. They talk about, like, scale of all the creatures in the areas and stuff like that. But we can go visit one. And we're going to visit one right now. And then I have to sadly call it a night. We'll go raid somebody. And tomorrow I'll be here at 3 p.m. Eastern. Because I will be seeing the new content that will be presented here in this game. I'm very excited to see what happens. What there is to see. So these were observational pod ages that visitors of the museum would go to, right? They'd touch the book. They'd go into this place, and they could view the wildlife. We'll turn the generator on so you can see a little better. We can look underneath and see the creatures go. We can illuminate it. And you can hear the sounds of the different creatures from time to time. What's really interesting is these pottages have like almost a 24-hour cycle of animations of things happening in the pods. And above ground, this is what you see. The ice. The ice crystals forming around the edge of the window. Can climb up. It's a living place. You know. They really spend a lot of time emphasizing the world building. It's so fascinating. So fascinating. And while the stuff that we're going to be getting tomorrow, the new content is technically fan-made, it's backed and endorsed by Cyan, so it's of the quality that they feel comfortable with releasing on their official servers. And maybe the start of a relationship with the fan creators to be able to add more and more to this world. It'll be really interesting. So what you can also do is like these little buttons here, they give sounds of animal creatures. It doesn't seem to be broken. There we go. Little recordings of these creatures that you can see from time to time. It's amazing. Alright, we had to shut this down because this actually, you can run out of the power. And so you have to close it down so that the generators can save up power. If you leave it running, it'll run out of power and you have to shut it down and wait a long period of time for the solar energy to build up on the generators. It's really interesting. Alright, so we're gonna say goodbye here. We're gonna go find ourselves a person to raid. And then tomorrow we're gonna go into some awesome stuff. I'm so excited for tomorrow. Alright, let's see who we got. Thank you everybody for coming in, hanging out. Your company means more than anything. So like that, it means all the world. Okay. So let's see who we got. Let's go say hi to Taco Salad. I tried this last time and they had left. So let's try this again. He does adventure games. Really good, cool guy. And since we're doing adventure games, let's keep in the spirit of those things. Have a wonderful night, everybody. I'll see you all later. I'll see you tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, for those who are interested. Have a good night. Sleep well, okay? Bye.